So, good afternoon. And what I want to talk to you all about, because I didn't want to keep saying, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I know you can hear me now. What I wanted to talk to you all about is just to encourage you and to let you know that you are on the right path. You are on the right path. I know it may not seem like you're on the right path because for a lot of us, it has been a little challenging as far as moving forward, right? Because so many things has been happening, right? So many things have been happening, and it seems like we can't really take it all in. Let me just say that. But you are on the right track, right? You are on the right path. You can't give up. You cannot give up, right? You let go of people you needed to let go of. You walked away from situations you needed to walk away from. You distanced yourself from people who just were not good for your spirit. Not saying that you hate people or anything. They were just not good for you at the time of you trying to heal and move forward. You finding your voice. A lot of you all have been silenced, and you're learning to find your voice. You've been doing a lot of work, healing work. Okay, you've been doing a lot of work on the inside, right? You've been doing a lot of self-reflecting. You've been doing a lot of healing and dealing with the self. Okay, that's part of growing and healing. When you separate yourself from people and you start doing the work on yourself, right? You know what invites are good and healthy, and you know what invites are not good and healthy. Like, you've been really learning yourself, and that's how you know you are on the right path. You are doing more things that are more peaceful for you, that are more beneficial to you. Not saying that you're doing things selfishly, because most of the people who follow this channel, our heart is big, and that is the reason that we got caught up in a lot of the situations that we did, because we're very sensitive, we're very understanding, we're very pure-hearted. We try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. We try to be understanding. We're long-suffering. We see people's potential, and we have all these things that we try to project on others, right? We have all these good qualities within ourselves, and we try to put those on other people, and those people just don't have that, okay? They just don't have what it is that we carry, right? And that's how we ended up in a lot of the situations that we ended up in, because we think everybody is like us. We think everybody's understanding. If you look at half of those relationships and the people you dealt with, they were not as understanding, as forgiving, as long-suffering, as loving, as caring, as thoughtful as you were. We have to come to terms with that. Half of the people who we were in relationships with, or who we dealt with, these people were selfish. You were in one-sided friendships. You were in one-sided relationships. You were in one-sided family-ships. You were always the one putting high hope. You're always the one giving while everyone else is receiving or either taking. Right? And it's not that you were doing it just to get something back, right? That wasn't your mindset. You were just doing it because that's who you are. But some people will take advantage of that. You got takers out there that will take advantage of that. So now that you're learning, you can't give everybody your goodness, right? You're learning to be more reserved. You're learning to preserve, okay, your goodness for yourself. This is how you know you're on the right path. You're doing the healing work. You're not worried about how you look on the outside. Because I've noticed there are a lot of people in this world, they want to fix up the outside. They want to look like they're healing. They want to look like they're doing well. They want to look like they have a good life. They got the house, they got the car, they got the looks. They look the part, but their spirit is dark. They don't have the joy that you have. They don't have the true joy that comes from within. right? And that's how you know, this is how you know you're on the right path, because you will have people that seems to, and you can feel it, that seems to be jealous of you, and you're thinking because they got all the material things, why would they be jealous? You the one got all the stuff. Why would they be jealous, right? And they got all the stuff, but you have the spirit, you have the heart, you're doing the work. You're doing the work, right? You are doing the work on yourself. You're doing, and there's nothing wrong with having those things, right? But you just want to make sure your priority is in the right place, because I want me a nice house. Okay? I want a nice house. I got my dream car that I want. But I want to make sure that my spirit is right first. I want to make sure the inside is right first, right? That my heart is pure, that I'm uprooting and I'm healing those things, right? That once held me back, once kept me back. It's all about heart posture. It's all about mindset. It's all about perspective. Like, when you know you're on the right path, you're content with where you are and what you have. You are thankful for what you have, because you know that it could be worse. You know that, if you're not grateful for what you have, even what you have could be taken away. Right? So this is how you know you're on the right path. You're at peace. You're at peace. You're content. You're thankful for what you have. You thank God for what you're appreciative of where you are. You understand healthy boundaries. You understand saying no. You understand prioritizing things that you are working on. You're not allowing people to come in and drag you into what they want you to do. You don't feel bad about saying, no, that's not something I want to do right now. Or no, I'm working on something else. You are doing more of those things that bring you joy and bring you peace. This is how you know you're on the right path. You're doing your own inner healing. You are reflecting, right? You are reflecting and doing the work on yourself. You are doing all of the work on healing yourself from the inside out. There's nothing like running into people, and I see it too. I don't see it quite often, but I see it every now and then. People who their spirit is in the right place. They look good on the inside and on the outside. When you run into those people, you be wanting to know what they're doing. Like, you can feel the energy. They're content. They're positive. They're confident within themselves. And you can feel it too. People can feel it. And they want to know, because I be curious too. I be like, what they got going on, which I know what's going on with them, because they're doing the inner work. They are content with themselves. They're happy within themselves. They're whole within themselves. When you get on the right path, and when you know you're on the right path, you're going to learn that you are a complete person. You are whole by yourself. You don't need, you go from needing outside people and sources to validate you, want them to root for you, want them to affirm you, to understanding that you are complete within yourself. You validate yourself. You affirm yourself. You don't need any outside validation, affirmation, confirmation, support. You don't need any of that. It's good to get it, but you're still content and whole within yourself. When you get to that place, it's up from there. It is up from there when you realize that you don't need another person to make you complete, because God made you complete. You are already complete within Him. Everyone else is just an addition, right? Your husband is going to just be an addition. Your wife is going to be an addition because you complete within yourself. They're going to be an added bonus. They're going to be an added bonus. And you won't be living your life waiting for people to affirm you, to like you, to validate you, to, you know, say you look good and say this, and you will do that for yourself. You will be content doing that for yourself. This is how you know you're on the right path, because you won't need an outside validation. You won't need anyone to say, oh, you're doing a good job. You won't need anyone to say you are a good mom, you are a good wife, you're a good husband, you're a good friend, you're a good sister, you're a good co-worker. When you know who you are and you know what you bring, you don't need anyone to validate you. Oh, they see. One thing people gonna do is pay attention. Even when you think they're not watching, oh, they're watching. They are watching. But you have to know, whenever you do something, you're not doing it for people. You're not doing it for validation. You're doing it as if you know God is watching you. You operating in excellence. You're being good to your children because you know God is watching you. You telling them the truth because you know God is watching you. You good to your manager or your boss because you know that's what God wants you to do. Not because you're trying to get them to validate you. You're a good friend, right? You're a good friend because you know God is watching you. And when I say good, I don't mean just nice. Because, you know, we think being nice is that you're being good to people. No, being nice is not, my definition of being nice means that you agree with whatever foolishness they're doing. And then you don't want to hurt their feelings and you don't want to tell them the truth. You don't want to tell them the truth because you're so nice. Right? I tell people I'm not a nice person. I'm a kind person. Because I'm not going to, if you're my friend or someone I love, I'm not going to sit and watch you do something and not say anything to you, not try to correct you. I'm not a nice person. I'm a kind person. I'm very kind. Very, very just kind. That's one of the fruits of the Spirit. Niceness is not a fruit of the Spirit. Kindness is. Okay? And I will bring correction because that's who I am. Even myself, I'll correct myself. So it's not like I'm looking, trying to point out someone's flaws. But if I'm around someone or if I'm connected to someone, it is my job to make sure they grow and become the best person they could be. That's why it's very dangerous to be around people who helps you satisfy your flesh, who helps you satisfy and do things that you want to do, knowing down the road 5, 10, 20 years later, that thing is going to bring destruction to you. Who want to be around people like that? Who want family members and loved ones like that? I don't want to be around people like that. That's why I'm content with being by myself. I thank God for my few friends and people who He's sent in my life, because I want to be corrected. I want to see my blind spots. I want to see where I need to improve. I want to see that. And I know when it's coming from a healthy place and not a place of jealousy or not a place of, you know, being a hater. I know when it's coming from a good place. But I want to be corrected. I'm not like the average person. I'm always looking. I may not like it. My spirit may fight it. But if it's some good advice, some good correction, I'm going to take heed to it. That's how we grow. And that's another reason why I think so many people are dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety in the world, because they got all these people around them that don't want to correct them. They living and doing all sorts of things and people don't say nothing to them. They stealing and killing and backbiting and doing all this foolishness, and people won't even correct them. Like, you know what? You shouldn't be doing that. You know, no one is around to correct them. Everyone's just living how they want to live. And I don't like being around people like that. I can't stand it. And I'm saying I'm better, but in order for me to improve, I can't be around people who's always gossiping, who always in negative energy. That brings my spirit down. I'm very aware and that's another thing too. When you're on the right path, you become very aware what is not healthy for you, and you don't engage in it. You become very aware what is not healthy, and you try not to put yourself in those situations or around those people. You try not to hang around those people. You try not to connect with those people. You try not to be in their, their atmosphere too long. I know that's what I learned about myself. Before I graduated from being a people pleaser and being nice, I learned, before I graduated, I used to just sit there and let people say and do things, and I never would say anything. I never would speak up, because I didn't want people mad at me, or, I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want, people looking at me different. I didn't want them talking about me. And all the while, I'm sitting there holding my peace. They are going about their business and living and doing what they want to do, and I don't create a war within myself because I'm not speaking up for myself. I'm so concerned, and that was my fault. I'm not blaming anyone. That was my fault. I was the one that was afraid. I was the one that was afraid to speak up. I was the one afraid of losing people because of my own childhood issues that I didn't heal, my own traumas that I was dealing with. That wasn't anyone else's fault. That was my fault. I take full responsibility. That's why this channel is here, the responsibility channel. We don't blame anyone for what we've allowed in our life. Yes, people may have done us wrong. Yes, people may have treated us bad, but we allowed it. You allowed it. Out of ignorance, out of brokenness, I allowed it. I allowed that thing. I take full responsibility. I don't blame anybody. I'm not one of them type of people that want to blame somebody for, my downfall or my shortcomings. I'm not one of them, oh, it's my mama's fault, the way I was raised. My mom was an addict all my life. She didn't raise me. I don't blame my mom, because what I understand, see, I thank God for giving me an understanding how I have it, because I don't know, I just think a certain way, right? I just think a certain way. And hold on. I just think a certain way, and I don't believe in blaming people for everything that goes wrong in my life. I don't believe in that. My mom was an addict. She didn't raise me. I still believe it's my responsibility. Once I started getting knowledge and growing and healing, I realized that I can't hold my mom hostage for something she probably didn't know. Right? For something she probably didn't know. Or she wasn't, I can't hold her accountable for that. We always have people that like to just blame others for everything. I don't believe that. I believe that if there's any way you feel about a certain thing, right? if there's anything you feel that is someone else's fault, I understand when you're a child. Now, don't take my words and twist them and say that, I'm a child is responsible. No, I'm not saying that. I was a child. I was a child when my mom, became an addict. So I'm not saying it was my fault, but I'm saying now that I'm older, it is my responsibility to heal and deal with whatever issue I feel that I lack or didn't have. I just believe in that. I don't believe in just staying and wallowing in my pain and wallowing in my hurt. I just don't believe in that, because it's not going to do anything. I've always been a person that has a mind to get over things. right? To get over things, to get through things. I don't like stuff holding me down. I don't like people having control over me, over my happiness, over my joy. And see, that's what we do. We let people mistreat us, abuse us, and then we give them the power we give them the power to take our happiness away. I don't believe in that. I don't let the devil get that much power over me. I'm going to show him that I'm going to heal and get myself together and be happy and joyous, because my joy comes from God. My joy don't come from what you did to me. That's your character. That explains how you are. That has nothing to do with me. You mistreating me don't have nothing to do with me. That just tells me who you are. And it was my fault for allowing it, right? That's why we have to heal and we have to get new information, because a lot of us dealt with situations because our families, right? Because how we were brought up in our families. It was normalized in our families. So when we got in relationships, we thought that was normal. It's not until you get a real relationship with God that you will see how messed up stuff is. It's not until you start reading and getting new information and growing personally and healing from the inside. Healing from the inside. That's when we realize how messed up things were and how messed up things we did were. Right? Because we do stuff out of ignorance. I'm just not one of those people that like to point the finger. I'm not one of those people that, you know how some people get in a relationship and they want to talk about how crazy the ex-husband was or the ex-wife. No. Tell me what you did. Don't talk about how bad they were. Because I'm going to look at, the way I look at things, if you sit there and talk about how bad your ex was and your ex this and ex that, and you talk about how bad they were, I'm going to be looking at you side-eyed. Because you're not taking any blame. You're not taking any blame. It's always the other person's fault. It's always they treated me wrong. What did you do? What was your part? Like what was my part in it? Because we have a part. You know, we're not all victims, you know. We have a part. We just have to be honest with ourselves. That's when you know you're on the right path. Because you start being honest with yourself. You be like, you know what? I ain't have no business getting in that relationship anyways. That relationship wasn't for me anyways. We were just in this relationship because we both was lustful. We were in this, we bonded over trauma. You know, we were in this because of surface level stuff. Oh, they look good. We ain't do no spiritual work, right? Like, we just get in situations because of ignorance. We get together based on superficial things and we want to be like, oh, I'm a victim. Oh, no. You both were just immature, unlearned. Look, immature, unlearned, repeating generation. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest. I know I'm very honest. I'm very transparent. I don't believe in, and that's one of my problems. That's one of my problems. I be too straightforward. God teaching me how to not be so direct, because, you know, everything don't need to be straight to the point all the time. He's teaching me how to like soften the blow, because I be oversharing. I used to overshare, and he was like, no, honey, daughter, you got to tone it down. You can't be so straightforward. You can't put yourself out there like that, you know? So I had to learn, because I'm just honest, right? When you're too honest and open, people use that against you. And it's not that you don't want to not be honest. You just can't be so open. Because people try to use certain things against you. Even twist your words, but you still could be honest, but you just have to know how to, you know, how to soften like the land. I had to learn how to land the plane, because I don't be ashamed. I just don't, because I know who I am, and I know where I came from, and I know what I've been through. And that's why when I have like more intimate meetings with my, you know, memberships and things, I'm very, you know, honest. I try still not to try to be too blunt, because, you know, you don't want to, I don't want to feel like I'm bleeding on people. At the same time, I have to operate in wisdom. Let me just say that. You have to operate in wisdom and be led by the Spirit when you say different things. But I don't be ashamed, because I know where I came from, and I understand when I share certain things and I tell my testimony, people could see that they're not alone. They could see that they're not the only one going through it. Because we be sitting back like we all prepped and proper, and we going through HE double hockey stick, and people need to know how you got over it. They need to know how you get through it. We're supposed to be telling because we all got something going on. That's one thing I do know. We all got some type of something going on. And we all can help each other and teach each other how to get through it if we only shared. Because you got people could be pointing the finger at somebody, and they got a whole nother situation going on in their life, but they're so busy pointing the fingers at someone else or looking at their downfall and their hurt and their issues. Because one thing I do know, people like to gloat when somebody else going through stuff. I don't know why people are like that, but people like to gloat in when other people are hurting, and when they're going through certain things, when they're going through things with their children, when they're going through things with their spouse and husband and wife, and when they're going through hard times, people like to sit back, and they love that. They love to feed off that negative energy. Especially when you're around evil, jealous people, they'll sit back. They want to hear. They want to hear your gossip. They'll call you, oh, what's going on? They like to hear that. They don't want to hear no positivity. They don't want to hear, girl, I gave that to God. I'm not worried about that. They don't want to hear, yes, blessed butterfly. They don't want to hear, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing about them. I understand that they're broken. I understand that they're hurt. They got their own problem. What I'm going to do is pray for them. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear, I can't talk about them. I got my own stuff. I say that quick. I remember I used to work at this hospital years ago, because I told y'all my mom was an addict. So, and I ain't saying that just in glorifying that. I'm just being honest, right? So I remember this girl who was I was at the security desk, because I talk to everybody. I'm a little social butterfly. I'm very good with people. And then the lady, she was trying to tell me that the security guard, mom was crazy. And I told her, listen, I don't have no room to talk about nobody's mama. And I looked at her and I walked clean off. I said, no, I ain't got no room. One thing I'm not going to do is be hypocritical. Okay, people do that. People do stuff, and they don't went through things, and they'll talk about the same thing somebody else going through. They don't been through it, and they'll make it seem like the person is doing something so bad. But you just went through that. You just experienced that. You've done that before. No, I just can't do that. My spirit just won't let me. My spirit won't let me. I can't do it. If I know I've done it, if I know I've done something close to it, I can't sit there. I can't sit there and fix my mouth to say, oh, this person, that person, blah, blah, blah. No. I can't do that. Nope. I'll just sit there and be quiet. Like, I don't put people in my business, but I get quiet on them. Like, I can't fix my mouth to say anything. Because hey, Joanne, I've done things. I've said things. I'm not about to fix my mouth, and no, I'm not going to do that. I don't know how people could do it. I can't. Exactly. I just can't do it. And then too, when you realize that you talking about somebody else is not doing anything for you, it'll be easy for you to be quiet, and easy for you to walk away, or easy for you not to say nothing. I love being quiet now. I can sit there and hear people talking about stuff, and I know they be wanting me to say anything. I won't say a word. I won't say a word, because I know that type of energy brings me down. That negative energy, gossip, that mess up my spirit. I like keeping my energy high. I like having high energy. When I tell you, I like having energy that people turn heads like, why is she so happy? I like that type of energy. I don't like being gloom and sucked in and dry, and I don't like that. I like to be upbeat, good spirited. Hello, how you doing? Talk. I like that type of energy. And I can't stay in that place if I'm around people who always complaining, who always negative, who always talking about what's on the news, who always talking about what's going on about this and that. I don't like, no. I can't do it. I can't do it. And that's why I love my peace. That's why I enjoy being by myself. I enjoy being by myself. And I know, and see, one thing I've learned, when you're on the right path, you will enjoy being alone. You will enjoy that alone time. You will enjoy that quietness. But you also know how to have a healthy balance to where you fellowshipping with your friends. Because when me and my friends get together, we have a good time. We go out to lunch, and I always fellowship with people. When I feel people got good spirits, we'll go have lunch. I say, let's schedule lunch. Right? Blessed Butterfly, you won't believe how long I haven't watched the news, sat down and watched like the news. I'll see clips on YouTube, but I stopped watching TV in 2009. And I ain't saying this to brag or anything or say I'm better than somebody. But when I realized how much time it consumes, and I haven't missed it. I'll go to a movie every blue moon. But to sit down and when I come home to watch TV, I haven't done that since 2009. And I know people can't believe it because people live by that box. I cannot watch TV. Like, I didn't have cable for a long time. Still don't have it now. My kids have, their dad got them Netflix or something, but they don't watch TV that much either, unless they're on their computer. But I don't watch TV like that. It's a waste of time. I have too much to do. I barely have time. We go to work 8 hours. We got 24 hours in a day. We work 8 of them hours, okay? On these folks' jobs. We work 8 of them hours. That leaves up with what? 16 hours left? 16? How many hours we have left? 16? Yeah, 16 hours left. You sleeping 8 of those. So what that leave you? You're working 8 sometimes, and not counting the commute there and back. You're sleeping 8. I don't have that much time. Don't have that much time. How people could just sit back, and I'm okay with it. One thing I've learned to not let what people do and what they say affect me, because I know what works for me. And I used to do that. I used to be so easily persuaded because I was a people pleaser. Right? I was a people pleaser now, and then I was immature. I hadn't grew and healed. So I always felt like I had to be, especially if I cared about the person, I always felt like I had to do what they suggested or do what they did. And no, if they want to do that, let them do that. If I say I don't do something, I don't do it. I don't let people persuade me and try to convince me of otherwise. And then if I tell them no and they keep doing it, I'm just going to distance myself from you because I feel like you're not respecting my boundaries, whatever it is. It could be simple, something simple. But I just don't waste time. We don't have enough time. Then you trying to build something. I'm trying to build my coaching business. I work 8 hours. I got kids. I try to make time for God. Where are you going to put TV? Where I'm going to fit TV in? I try to listen to my educational podcasts and learn different things. You got to cook, clean, keep up with your house, pay your bills. Where you going? How are you going to watch TV? Where is there time for TV? Help me out, somebody. Where can the TV fit in and all of that? Because if I make TV a priority, all that other stuff will be lagging. I won't have time to spend with God. I won't have time to check in on my bills to make sure I got stuff in order. I won't have time to do all these different things that I need to do to keep the house running, to keep the life running, right? To keep my life running, to keep everything running smoothly. It takes a lot to make sure your house is in order and to make sure it's running smoothly. You're keeping the eye on your kids. You're trying to make sure you tuned in spiritually to make sure they ain't falling in the sunken place in these electronic devices. It's a lot you got to do. right? There's a lot you got to do. And where do you have time to sit down and watch TV? I know I don't. I just don't. I tell people that not just to be bragging or try to make myself look good. I'm like, I just don't have time. How do you don't have time to watch TV? I just don't. My life is full. I got a full life. My life is full. It's a lot going on. And you got to rest. You got to take time out, for you and your mental health. Where can you fit TV in and all of that? Help me out so I can find that out. I just don't know how people do it. And then you got to get proper rest. I'm big on getting proper rest because that's important. I can't be staying up all times of night. I get up early. I'm an early bird. So I get up early. So I got to try to go to sleep early. So how there's no time. There is no time. So you have to make sure that you are prioritizing what's important to you. Don't let everybody, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers and what they call them, gurus, motivational gurus or speakers. And I listen to a lot of these people, and I notice I keep hearing the same thing. And some things that they say, and most of that stuff, let me tell y'all, most of that stuff be biblical. They just putting it in the way that don't sound like it's religious, and some people do use God in, but most of that stuff, the motivational stuff, is all biblical. They just rewording it and putting it in a different, some of them don't reword it, but they just don't give God credit, right? What I was going to say, I lost my train of thought. Talking about what I was going to say, I lost my train of thought. Oh, one thing I've noticed that is a repeat trend amongst all these people is that they prioritize their time and they know how to say no. They don't accept every invitation. Just because somebody invites you somewhere, that don't mean you have to go, because that's wasting your time. And I was the type that always wanted to go to everything. Like if somebody invited me, I felt like I had to be there because I got an invite. No, I'm like, what is this? How is this benefiting me spiritually? Is it somebody that is it one of my friends, somebody I'm close to? Is it somebody I like? Is it one of my church sisters? Like it has to be meaning to me. It has to be something important to me. I don't have a lot of time to be wasting. If it's not beneficial to where it's fellowship, it's good energy where you go and just, talk to people and you fellowship, you talk about God, you talk about your goals, that is positive and you don't feel drained. I make time for fellowship, right? I make time for fellowship. I make time for people who gonna uplift my spirit, who gonna help me and I can help them. Because see, I know what I bring, right? I know what I bring to any. When I come around, you gonna feel, I don't have to say nothing to you. When I come around, you gonna feel uplifted. Because that's how much work I've done on myself. You're not gonna feel, unless you a demon, unless you demonic, because the devil don't like the light. So unless you demonic, you gonna feel a type of way. But other than that, when I come around, you gonna feel positive. You gonna feel good about yourself. I'm not gonna make you feel bad. My spirit may challenge you, but I'm not going to intentionally say, you need to do. No, that's not who I am. And I understand who I am. When I come around, you're going to feel uplifted. You're going to be encouraged. You're going to leave me feeling better. You're going to feel elevated when you leave me. You're going to feel like you want to conquer the world. You're like, I talked to that girl. She's different. Yeah, you're going to feel motivated. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel encouraged, because that's my gift. When I hang out with my friends, we go out to dinner, we just be talking about the goodness of God, our goals, our kids. Like when I leave my friend, I feel uplifted. I like to have fun. We laugh. I love that type of stuff. I don't want to go out to eat just to be gossiping, talking about work, talking about this, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to talk about just some goodness. talking about shopping or something. Like, no. I don't have time to be sitting there talking about people and I feel heavy when I leave, or no. Or talking about your testimony, or we talking about what we experienced in warfare and how God came through. That's what I like talking about. How we overcame these devils, how the devil tried us, and we like, devil. No. That's what I like talking about. Like, I don't want to be heavy when I leave. I like to be encouraged. And I like people to, I like to encourage people, and I like to be encouraged. I like to leave a situation feeling better. And that's what I try to do to people, because I know what I bring. When you get me, you going to get the best. And I don't say that just to brag and beat myself up out of a prideful heart. No. When I come into your life, you're gonna feel good about yourself. You ain't got to worry about me trying to compete. You ain't got to worry about me trying to overshadow, or you ain't have to worry about that, because that's not how I come. That's not the spirit I'm coming in. I don't know what other people come, what spirit they come in, but I'm coming to uplift you, encourage you. Okay? Tell you how good God is, how he been good to me. Okay? Everything gonna be uplifted. Even the plants. I walk the plants down, they gonna lift up. They gonna be singing. I don't have time for that. Like, everything gonna get lifted up. I'm gonna water your plants. The grass gonna turn green. Ain't gonna be no brown grass over there when I come. The grass gonna be green. It's gonna be fruit on the tree. Trees, you ain't have no oranges on them trees in 10 years. And I come over there, them oranges gonna blossom. They're gonna be some big oranges too. All the fruit on the tree, mangoes, lemons, whatever you got out there, they're gonna blossom. Because people can come and zap up your good energy. Have you ever been to a place where, and I saw this in my old house, right, where I used to live, the house I moved out of, we sold the house, but the house I moved out of, I still walk in that community, and I go by the house and I was like, that house is not the same. It's not as lively and bright when I was living there. I'm not saying, even the place before then, I went back, that place is so rough, it does not look like the same place. Because different people do bring different energies to certain things. That is a true thing. Different people bring different energies. I looked at the house. I'm like, that house is not the same. I'm like, even the paint was brighter when I was there. Now the paint looked dull. The grass looked dull. Like, it just don't look the same. It don't even look like I lived there. When I was there, the house was bright and shiny. The sun was always out. And it was like just vibrant. And people do bring that type of energy. People got dark energy, and you got people that have light energy, right? And I bring the light energy. And people want to get close to you too. Some people want to get close. See, I had my spiritual walls up. I had to learn. Look, I put spiritual walls up. I don't be letting people try to penetrate. No, when I feel them energies, I know how to put the wall up spiritually. I didn't know all that. I didn't know how to not let everybody in, because I'm so open and receptive, and I want everybody to feel welcome. But I learned with certain spirits, them walls go up. The whole wall of Jericho go up. I put them walls up so high. No, you're not gonna penetrate these walls. You're not gonna zap my energy. And I'm very careful. I don't give everybody that energy, and I don't mistreat people or anything, but I'm very careful not to be dishing out that energy like that. Because people do want to come. People are sucking up folks' energy. That's the thing. That's the thing. It really is. Even like people road rage. They angry on the road. They don't cut you off and shot you the middle finger, and now your day messed up. Now you were doing fine until that person cut you off and gave you that middle finger. Now you going to work with the bad day. That's why I don't answer. Like, when I get up in the morning, I try not to check my phone. I don't try to answer no texts, no phone calls, or nothing until I get to work, because I don't need nothing disturbing my peace before I get to work. Like, I need to have that's why you have to know yourself. Your mind needs to be clear of things, like, until you get to where you're going. And I do that intentionally because you don't need, as soon as you get up, you haven't even prayed. You looking at your phone. Somebody don't send you a nasty text message. That happened to me a few months ago. Somebody sent me a nasty text message. And something in my spirit say, don't open it. Something in my spirit say, don't open that message. I was on my way to work. I heard my phone go ding. Something in my spirit say, don't open that message. Wait until you get home. And that day I had a meeting with my manager. That day I had a meeting with my manager. Just imagine if I would open that text, got that nasty message in my spirit, and I'm going in there with my manager acting all, weird and mean and attitude. No. Nope. I don't do that. I don't do that. And I'm like, thank God I was willing, that I had the sense to listen to my spirit, or that would have messed up my day early in the morning. That would have messed up my day because it was a long old nasty text message from somebody who need to deal with their own stuff, and I sent that energy right on back. Now you keep that over there. Look, I'm doing the work over here. I'm doing my own work. Now you gonna have to do your work. But just imagine if I would have opened that message. My manager didn't do anything to me. She just wanted to talk, and I don't got a whole attitude because somebody sent me a text message that ruined my morning. No, I'll be trying not to let that phone make me I try not to be a slave to my phone, to messages, and I try not to do that because that's not good for me. That's not good for me. Yep. That is not good for me. So, but that's what I want to come talk to you all about. I think I got off on a tangent here, just knowing when you're on the right path. You start doing the work on yourself. You don't blame anyone. You do the internal work. You're not worried about the outside things, right? Because one thing I've learned since I've been on my healing journey and I've been doing the work on myself, I've learned that once you do the work on yourself and you heal the inside, you can get anything you want. You can get anything that you want where you will be at peace. Because see, a lot of people have material things and they're not at peace with it. The stuff is a burden. They have to hustle and bustle to keep up with it. They got to do different things to keep up with an appearance and keep up with the look. But when you do the work on the inside, you get things and it's peaceful. You're not going to have to toil for that thing. It's going to be peaceful. And that's what I want. I want peaceful things. I don't want things I have to work for. I'm getting a little seasoned. I want things to come to me easily. I don't want to feel like I have to always be in this hustle bustle mindset. I want to pay off my debt, right? I want to pay that debt off because that debt is a yoke around your neck. If we didn't have the debt that we had, we could live more freely. We could live on a modest budget. We could live on a modest income. But because we have so much debt, right? It's like a yoke. It's like we stuck. So that's my mission, to pay off that debt slowly but surely to get it paid off, right? So thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you all for coming, listening to me, giving me your time. Giving me your time and your energy. I hope you all are doing well. Happy holidays. Right? Happy holidays. You all be safe and let me know if you all have any questions. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget I have a free guide on my Gumroad account. I have a free guide. It's more like a self-reflection guide for women. Men can use it too, but it says for women. And it helps you. Me too, blessed butterfly. Me too, dear. Yes. And it has some correlation. Like when you declutter your life or you get rid of things, it does have a correlation to freeing up, things in your mind. It has a correlation to you mentally, right? It really does. I was cleaning off my little patio area, getting rid of some things. I want to make it into like a little oasis where I can go and sit. It's on my Gumroad account. I'll put the link here. It's a free woman's guide that I made years ago where you can ask yourself questions. You can print it out. You can ask yourself questions to help you get through like some of your, like reflecting. That's what it's called. The what is the title of it? A Woman's Guide to Healing, I want to say. But I'll put the link in this when I get off the live. I'll put it in here, Joanne. But it's a free guide, and it's very helpful. That's what I took myself through when I first started my healing journey. I started asking myself all those questions too. And also I got a self-healing masterclass on my Gumroad account. It's only $22 if you want to take advantage of that. And I've been created that class back in 2023 when I first started the Responsibility channel. My hair was cut short, so I looked different because my hair was short. Now I have locks, but it's a affordable masterclass. It's an hour and I think 8 minutes. I was listening to it last night to see listen to some of the information that I had in there, because I'm looking to do another masterclass called To Be Made Whole. Oh yeah, Gumroad. Yeah, Gumroad is interesting. I thank God for Gumroad too. I thank God for Gumroad. But yep, I have quite a few resources over there. I have an ebook. What else I have over there? I have a business affirmation guide that I created. It's just a one-pager. If you have a business, how you can speak over your business. I have that. That's there. Yeah, I think that's it. Just 4 things. I'm working on some more things. I'm working on updating my Gumroad account. I think now that I'm more in a space, I'm in a different space now. I think I want to really upload more material. Yeah, upload. I got so much material I want to upload. And look, I don't have time to watch TV. I got too much. I'm trying to produce and do, and I can't do that watching TV. I mean, I got so many books and things that I'm creating. I just have to, do it one day at a time and find the time in between working and taking care of my family and taking care of myself. So, but those resources help you, Joanne. Yes. Yep, those resources will help you. So I got to get ready to get off. I have a meet and greet tonight for my paid members on my channel. We meet and greet every now and then, and it's been a while, so we're going to meet tonight on Zoom at 7, so I need to prepare for that. And these are for the paid members on the channel who pay the $2.99. But if you want to join the membership, oh wow, I will. So if you want to join the membership, you can. And it's $2.99, and you'll be able to see the information and join the Zoom if you would like to. So, but it's a private meeting where we're just meeting and greeting. We get to know people off the screen, because sometimes we come online and you really don't see, know the person behind the name or the screen. And we just meet, and whatever God gives me to say, which he did give me something to talk about in this meeting. So I will be talking about that. And it's always something to do with the self, okay? We don't be blaming folks over here. We don't blame people. We deal with ourselves so we could become better, so we could grow, so we could uproot different things that we have going on. Like, we all are experiencing some type of transformation, some type of uprooting, some type of healing. Something is going on in all of us, and we're all in different stages of our growth and our healing. And we have to understand that it takes time. And that's why I try to encourage people too, and let them know everybody's walk is different. Like, yes, we may share similarities, but everybody's experience is different. Everybody's relationship with God is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's healing process is different. because we all come from different families. We all come from different upbringings. We all come from different roots, right? Yes, it is. Yes, very affordable, Joanne. Yes. So if you would like to meet us tonight, if you could join, and you'll see the information on there. But we are meeting at 7. Get on YouTube. Blessed Butterfly. Get on YouTube. And let me tell you, I used to have a fear of speaking, and I don't like things to control me. So I joined a local Toastmasters. I don't know if you ever heard of Toastmasters. I don't know what country you're in. Are you in the U.S.? Are you in the U.S., Blessed Butterfly? But if you are in the U.S., they have something called Toastmasters, right? You can look it up. It's a nonprofit organization, and it helps with public speaking and leadership. And I did that for like 4 years. I did that for 4 years because I didn't want to be afraid of public speaking, because I knew where I wanted to go. Yes, look that up. And they're everywhere around the United States. They're everywhere. So I knew I wanted to, grow, especially in my workplace at the time. I wanted to grow, so I had to build my confidence and my speaking skills in order to do that. So I joined Toastmasters, and Toastmasters helped me. Yep, they really helped me to deal with the fear. They have these competitions that you could do. You have people that are critiquing your speeches and critiquing how you can improve your speech. And you can look on YouTube. They have like a Toastmasters channel, and you'll see how it goes. People record their speeches, and you have people that are phenomenal. You have people that are phenomenal that have gone on to do great things. You got a lot of professional connections. When I was there, you had a lot of professional people, like attorneys. You have a lot of professional connections, business owners, teachers. Like, you have a lot of people, professors. You have a lot of people that are there who are looking to improve their their skill set, right? It's not just so you can learn to speak. It's also so that you can improve. And then, once you get over that, you'll be okay. But start a YouTube channel. If you go back at my earlier videos, I needed prayer. I needed prayer, but I had to start. I couldn't allow fear to stop me. So once you start, I think you get better over time. You get better over time. And the key that I know, Blessed Butterfly, is to be yourself. I was so afraid because I was born in the country. You probably could hear everybody always ask me, where are you from? Like, I'm from the U.S. I'm from the country. That's where I'm from. They always ask me, where are you from? Because they say I have an accent, but that's just my upbringing. I grew up in a place that was very rural and, just farmland, and I'm a product of that. And I can't run from that. I just had to learn to embrace that and be who I am. And that's that. Once I learned to embrace and be my authentic self, I was like, it was up from here. It was up from there. I can't be no one I'm not, because I don't feel good trying to, what they would say, code switch, or trying to appeal to like certain demographics or sound a certain way. That was exhausting. So I don't know how, I can't do that. As long as you are yourself, you be authentic, because people like that. People like when you are authentic. They can relate to you, right? They can relate to you. Yep, yeah. But Toastmasters will help you. Toastmasters will help anyone. If you're on here, join your local Toastmasters. That will help you overcome that. And you keep going. You keep doing the steps and the books and the speeches. I like stuff like that. So when I started, I was doing a speech every week. I went in head first. And it's like levels to it. Just like anything else. But it was fun. In my area where I live, it was so fun. We used to have meetings. We used to have in-house competitions. Like, you really have a community. I wanted to start back, but I just don't have the time anymore. I really don't have the time because I like the, you know, the fellowship. I like the fellowship. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting to know people and their professions. And a lot of people are very successful who are part of Toastmasters. Like, you can make some good connections. Not that you're joining it to like smooch off people or anything. Because I didn't know when I joined. I was like, didn't know anything about it. But I made some good connections. And I'm still in contact with one of the women to this day. She'll always invite me to their different meetings or different competitions, or if she's having, because she's very involved, she's been involved in that for years. She'll invite me to any luncheons they're having or any guest speakers that they have, you know. Yeah. And that's another thing. You work on your ums and likes, and sometimes you can't help the filler words, but it'll help you improve. It really will help you improve. So I hope that helped you. Yep, I hope that helped you. So, but you can always go on YouTube too. But it's nothing like being able to do it in person. Because online, yes, it could help. But when you are in person and you have to get up and stand up and do speeches in front of the crowd of 10 or 15 or 20, it all depends on your Toastmasters. It helps because you get to do the eye contact. You get to watch body language, and people get to critique you. One thing I did learn, that they critique you in a positive way. They always give you ways to improve, always tell you, you know, how to use your vocal variety, like, you know, different vocal tones, and it's very interesting. You would like it. You would like it. It's a small fee. The one that I joined, it was less than $100 for like every 6 months or every 3 months. I want to say, excuse me, I want to say every 3 or every 6, but it was a good investment. The investment was worth it. And like I said, I did it for 3 years. And yeah, I did it for 3 years. And I won a few little competitions. I have all my ribbons. I kept all my little ribbons where I won best speaker, because you get a ribbon once you do your speech. People judge you and select who had the best speech. I have my little ribbons that I kept. They do like impromptu speaking called table topics, where a person get up, and I don't know if it's still like this. I don't think too much changed, but they'll ask a question, and then you have like an impromptu answer that you have to give. That really helps you too. I know it sounds like I'm excited about it, because I am. I'm an advocate for Toastmasters if you're looking to improve. And not only leadership, not only speaking, they have leadership roles where you become a part of the organization, and you get to manage and lead one of the roles, like president, vice president of public relations, treasurer, all these different things. It's real good. Yeah. So you all be blessed. I got to go get ready for my meeting. So if you would like to join us, you could pay the $2.99 for a membership, even if you just come for the month, because it's month to month. You don't have to stay. But if you want to join today and stay for the month, just to join the meet and greet, you can do that. Okay? So, but no pressure at all. No pressure at all. You all be blessed, okay?